My grandparents own a bowling alley. Well, they owned a bowling alley. It's been passed down to my family now. They've owned it since, I honestly have no idea. But my parents are sole owners of it now. And so it's been in our family since before I was born, obviously. But we grew up in the bowling alley. You know, we bowled Bantam for when we were babies, it felt like. Then we went on to juniors, and you just kind of advance in the youth program. But we kind of played, we played sports, different sports. Like, it was never my parents made us bowl. It wasn't, they didn't say you have to do this or we're not proud of you. They let us take whatever avenue we wanted to, and so we did whatever we wanted to, but bowling was kind of always there. And everybody's like, oh, like, you can be great at bowling, and I'm like, whatever, like, I'll get there. But then once my older sister, Kara, like, I saw all the opportunities that she had going into college, it kind of shifted my mindset when I was in 8th grade to finally, like, take bowling seriously. So we all bowl. I have 2 sisters and a brother that passed away, but we all bowl and we all enjoy it together, and life comes full circle now that I'm old enough and I can bowl in adult leagues and we all bowl in the same league together. You really cherish those moments. If you look at our relationship now and you look at our relationship growing up, you would not understand. All 3 of us did nothing but fight our entire lives. My parents finally just started going on vacation without us because we couldn't get along. They told us they would take us if we could all get along, and we never could. It was always a fight. Like, we always fought about the most dramatic things. And it's funny to look back now in the relationship that I have with them. And it's funny to tell people that I see, like, younger siblings, they're like, oh, they can't stand each other. And I'm like, just wait till you get older. And people used to tell me the same thing, and I'm like, there's no way.
So something that's really awesome is you have a twin sister who is out here on tour with you week in and week out, and it's pretty incredible to watch you two be there for each other, and you embraced her. How awesome is it to have a sister with you week in and week out to share these incredible moments with?
I love every minute of it. I definitely wouldn't be here without her.
All right. Well, enough. We love you, Haley.
But no, I can't imagine going through day-to-day life without them. But with Haley, you know, when you have a sibling, specifically a twin, you don't do anything alone. So I have a hard time doing things alone now because I've always had somebody with me. But going to college, like, we decided that we were going to go together no matter what. So we ended up at Central Missouri together. And it just didn't fit us, and Kara was also there. And that was the main reason that we wanted to go there, was because Kara would be our assistant coach. So how cool would it be for all of us to be in the same place at the same time? You know, when Kara went away to college, when we were freshmen in high school, you realize, like, we're never going to be living under the same roof again. So going to school where she was important. So we went there. It didn't work out, and I told Haley, I was like, I think, you know, we need to transfer. And we were kind of looking at different schools, and I think it kind of set in, like, do we really want to separate? But when it came down to it, we made the visit to Arkansas State together and fully decided together that that's where we were going to go. I think my first year at Central Missouri, I learned the things that I did and didn't like. And I was finally out on my own, where I felt like I was going to be an adult and, like, this is where my story was going to start. You know, I bowled and stuff, like, in high school, but I felt like there were so many other bowlers that were recognized for all these, like, different things, and I never was. So it's like college was like, this is where I can turn my name into something. I had a decent year. I won Rookie of the Year and Player of the Year my freshman year, but I feel like I look back on it now and it's like, I don't remember very much of it. Because I didn't really enjoy my time. So in my head, I'm like, how can I transfer to another university and go through this again if I didn't really enjoy my last year? You know, you put so much into it. You practice 2 hours a day. You have workouts. You go to class. I'm like, at the end of the year, I'm like, maybe this just isn't for me. But then we went on the visit to Arkansas State, and it totally shifted my mindset. And we transferred together. And I look back on all of the memories that I have, and it's like the constant is Haley. Like, we did everything together. We still roomed together. We took classes together. Like, whatever it was, we were doing it together. But I think college bowling shaped so many of us out here. And I'm a firm believer that if I didn't have those 3 years at Arkansas State, I don't think I would have came out on tour and been as successful as I was. I had a really good coach that pounded things into my head when I didn't want them to be. Like, I was good, but he made me better. And when you're putting in so much time on the lanes, like, you're eventually just going to get better. I thought it was really important during those 3 years that every time he like made a comment to me about doing something, like, I always asked why, so I could learn and understand. You know, he didn't like belittle us, he didn't spoon feed us, but it was all about learning so that when I wasn't there, I knew what to do. And I feel like that shaped my career in so many ways so that I could be successful when I made the transition out on tour. Right around junior, senior year, everybody's like, okay, you can go to college for this. And I'm like, all right, you know, I was getting better and better at the time, so I knew that I could. And then when I did hear about the relaunch, yeah, it does kind of shift things. I'm like, okay, I'll go through my 4 years of college, I'll get a degree, and then I can go out on tour. Whether I use that degree, it is what it is, but I knew that when I graduated, I was gonna go on tour if it was still gonna be around. And I think that's where the mentality came in of like learning everything, was that I wanted to be the best when I came out here. So I tried so hard to learn everything that I could in those 3 years so I could be one of the best out here. And it did. Once the relaunch was announced, I knew that it was exactly what I wanted to do.
Looks pretty good.
Great shot.
22 to 194. Jordan Richard, the 2018 PWBA Greater Harrisburg Open champion.
Yep. Your first title. Yes, woo! First title of, I can see many. How do you feel?
I'm speechless. Oh, we're speechless. This is awesome. I honestly never expected to come out here and win a title my first year, but this is awesome. It's kind of just unbelievable.
Jay Rich.
Oh, that's close.
Oh, and there it is.
Jordan, on behalf of all of us here at Sun Valley Lanes, as well as the trophy sponsor, the Nebraska USBC, it is my privilege to crown you the 2019 PWBA Lincoln Open champion. Congratulations.
Thank you, John. Jordan, goodness, you led this tournament wire to wire. To be able to do that and close it out with your second title tour win, how do you feel?
I'm pretty speechless right now. This is definitely a dream come true.
I grew up in a bowling alley where it's like everything's kind of on you. And like when your family owns something in the city that you grew up in, I feel like all eyes are on you all the time. So it's like you're under a microscope all the time. And then I go to high school and I have a good career. And when you're at the top, everybody's paying attention to what you're doing. Then I go to college and I have a good standout career and the same thing, and then I come out on tour and I have immediate success. The expectations existed for a long time until I could finally come to terms with myself that those expectations don't define who I am as a person anymore. You know, I put so much pressure on myself to perform that when I wasn't performing, you constantly feel like you're letting yourself down. And when you let yourself down, you stop performing at a decent level at all. You know, you start to feel like you're a failure, like you're not accomplishing the things that you want to accomplish. And you know, during, like, I won the 2 titles my first 2 years, but then after that I was kind of like, I didn't win again until last year. It was like 3 or 4 years, I think. So it was a long time. It's almost like you forget how to win at that point in time. But during those years, I realized that bowling is what I do. It's not who I am. And I think, like, when you go through a traumatic experience in your life, you view life a lot differently. Like, I thought that bowling defined me. My good days on the lanes were good, my bad days were bad, and I thought that the world was ending if I had a bad day. I didn't want to talk to people. I didn't want to be around anybody. Like, I just wanted to seclude myself from everybody in that time, because it's like, if I can't be a good bowler, like, who am I? And then I lose my brother, and I understand that there's so much more to life than bowling. My family has been so close for so long, and you don't realize like how strong you have to be in those moments until something happens, and you don't expect it to. And I think that's the worst part, is you don't expect to one day just wake up and your family member be at the hospital and know that like his life is coming to an end. No matter how sick somebody is, or you know that it's coming, like it will never prepare you. But everything was like normal. He was the type of person to just like, that he was fine. And it's funny to look back on, like with my dad, he's always like, "I'll be all right, Dad." That was his saying. It was Christmas morning, and they were all supposed to come over, and he called and was like, "I'm not feeling very well. We're gonna stay home." And so we all, like, he had been kind of like sick, not like anything that you expect him to have cancer. But anyway, so we went through Christmas, and then Christmas night we go to sleep. We were all gonna spend the day after Christmas with my family at my mom's house. I keep my phone on silent, but my sister had called my boyfriend at the time. It was like, "Jordan needs to check her phone." And I, like, for whatever reason, it woke me up immediately, and like I could just hear the panic in my sister's like voice. So I get on my phone, and they had said that he went to the hospital because he wasn't feeling well, and that he had coded twice. And that he had cancer, and he didn't know it, and obviously none of us knew it either, because he hid everything so well. So they brought him back, and then they transferred him to a hospital down by my house. So I met my entire family up at the hospital that night, and I so vividly remember going to that hospital, and he was in ICU, and these doctors come out to us, and we had just gotten upstairs, and they were like, "He's coded again, like, we're gonna try and bring him back." So you're just sitting there in a waiting room with just us together, and you're just praying that everything will be okay. And it's the longest 2 minutes of your life. And they came out and just said that they couldn't bring him back. And that was it. And now you have to figure out how to move on in life. So we all went back to his room and said our goodbyes together. And ironically enough, how life like sends you signs is the house that I grew up in, our address was 211, and he was in room 211. And there was a pastor that came in to talk to us, and our grandpa's name was Tim, and his name was Tim. And so it's like, you know that he's sending you those signs. But it's like your whole world gets completely flipped upside down in 24 hours and you don't realize it. And then you kind of have to just figure out how you're gonna move on. I mean, he had a wife and 2 young kids along with all of us. And it's just in those moments that you realize that there's so much more to life than the sport that I chose to play. And that those bad days of bowling really aren't that bad. You know, there's a lot worse things that could be going on than the bad day of bowling. You know, we get through it as a family, and I think if our family wasn't as close, it could be different. And that's why like pennies are so important to me, and I find them all the time. And I have a bag, like a little change purse thing that hangs on the side of my backpack that's just full of pennies that I find. And all 3 titles that I won last year, during the day, I found a penny, you know. So I know he sends those signs, and I wish he was here because he'd be so excited. But unfortunately, it's life, and I have to go day to day without him now. I think I understood that my entire life couldn't stop, and I can sit here and be like, I want it to stop, and just like live in like the grief. And grief is such a funny thing. Like, there are times that, you know, things don't bother you, and then I look at a penny and I start bawling. It's just, it hits you in waves sometimes, and like the things that you think that can make you happy, like don't make you happy anymore. Or on the next day it could make you happy. Like, it's just so weird, and you don't understand it until you go through it. Like, I wasn't supposed to lose my brother at this young of an age. But I just think that like we all bowled together, and it was like our thing to do. And I know that he would be so proud, and he would be so excited to watch. And I know that if he was here, he would have came and celebrated all of those victories with me. He loved bowling, and he loved me, and he just loved life. And if there's anything that I can do to honor him, like, it's to live like him. Like, he had no care in the world. It didn't matter. Like, you could make him mad and he'd be like, okay. Like, nothing really upset him. He was just a free will person, and like, I admire that so much out of him, that's when life just changed. Like, it'll all be okay. Your mindset just shifts completely. And it's like, my bad days can be bad days, but I can still be a good person. I can be a good friend. I can learn from it. Like, in those moments, what is it teaching me if I'm bowling bad? And I think that by not having expectations of competing at a certain level, if it's not that day, you don't let yourself down. And I think that's where my career completely changed, because I stopped believing what everybody else was saying about, like, everybody expected me to win all these titles right away. And when I didn't win all those titles right away, everybody just kind of like pushes you to the side for the next best thing. But I stopped listening to what they were saying and worry about what I wanted to do. You know, it was my career, it was my life, it was the way that I bowled. And I finally took full control of that and didn't let people put these expectations on me. So when I didn't achieve them, I knew that I wasn't letting them down anymore. The opinions that I care about are my family and my friends, and that's it. And I think once I finally fully understood that and came to terms with it, it changed my mindset completely. I feel like all the weight that kind of sat on your shoulders for so long had just been lifted. You know, I got second at the first event, and then the second one I won. But it's like all those years that I didn't win, I had to learn how to win again. And then once I finally got over that hump of winning again, like, you just put all the puzzle pieces back together to understand how you get to the winner's circle. But it was just kind of like I was happy. I was in a good place mentally. I had started to surround myself with better people, and just put myself in better situations overall. And I started winning more.
Jordan last won a title. That drought is over. Oh, there it is, folks.
Ladies and gentlemen, your 2023
For good measure, you bet. 41, the hug between Jordan and Verity.
She needs 8 pins. Boom! Jordan Richard,
your PWBA Bowlers Journal Cleveland Open champion and 3rd-time winner out here on the Ladies Tour for 2023.
Yes. 10 is a win for Snodgrass. Title number 6 on the PWBA Tour.
How has that happiness and just where you are in your personal life translated to your game?
You know, over that time, you realize that bowling is just what I do and a part of who I am. It's not what makes me me. And I'm forever grateful for them, and I wish they were here, but I know that they're all watching and just as excited as I am.
All those years that I wasn't winning, I didn't realize the impact that my personal life had on my bowling. You know, I thought it was just, it is what it is and it'll be fine. And then I changed some things and I moved back home and I'm around my family every day and I start winning. And I know that life will come full circle with all of it. But I am a firm believer that doing what I did helped me be way more successful. Get closer to the action. Follow PWBA's YouTube channel for content you won't find anywhere else. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.